puppy. Oh, okay. That's Haley in the house. This is. And that's Oh, did both?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay, so I talked earlier in our little tour about the Buds. It's going to be called the Budsy Building. So that's a block away from here. It's going to be 146 units for women and for women with children. We also have a project on West 2nd near the Campbell Street Bridge, near the police station there. That's going to also be about 146 units. Those will all be like single units, like studio suites as well. And then we just found out, well, a month ago, that that we're going to be opening up a project in Coquitlam. And that's kind of unique for us because all of our programs are not in Vancouver. Like most are in this neighborhood and all are in Vancouver up until now. So it's going to be, in Coquitlam, it's going to be 30 shelter units like here and then 30 transitional units. And it's a different health region, so that makes things different too, and it's also a new community for us, so that'll be different.
Do you say that you house more women or more men last year?
I think we probably house more men. I would like it if we would house more women. And I was actually at some lectures that SFU put on recently talking about like what is the breakdown, because you can have it like this. You can have it when this was built in '93. That was to address what we thought the numbers were. That we thought maybe 2/3 people that needed our help or needed shelter were men and 1/3 were women.
Yeah.
It's probably not accurate anymore. And in fact, buildings, even in our own buildings that are quote-unquote co-ed, doesn't mean it's going to be 50-50 that live there. And depending on the person's skills who's applying and depending on the comfort level of sitting through an interview or talking, for example, a woman might be frightened to go to an office or not feel safe and then therefore wouldn't apply. So unfortunately that is involved too with the unnatural selection of who stays there. So,
Okay. How many people work here?
we have about 300 staff. Over half of those are on call because most of our programs like the shelter here are 24 hours, so we need a pretty healthy on-call list.
How did your charity begin and who founded it?
I can't remember the name of the person, but St. James Social Services is another nonprofit. We were part of them, so the shelter that was on Main Street back was set up in 1982. Pardon me, technically we were still part of that nonprofit. But what's interesting is that even though we're our own entity, 30 years later, a lot of what we used, or what our philosophies then are the same now, and that is to really meet people where they're at and find out what's going on, rather than setting an agenda or setting limitations, and then once the person meets those limitations, house them. We actually try and look at addressing those and not necessarily embracing them, but having someone live there and then look at the reasons why they've had difficulty in the past.
If your organization was to receive $5,000, how would you direct it?
It would go to our Healthy Living program. If you go back to our website, there's a link to that that explains it. But essentially, over the 30 years, we've been pretty good at providing a place, and we've been pretty good at becoming friends or like building relationships with folks. And more recently, we've been working on something to do part. Because really that's when a person actually feels like they've got a home, is they actually are participating in a different way. In a garden nearby, we've got a couple of living walls where people can actually eat stuff that's going on the side of the building. So we'll be going to that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's begin now.
You know, today, I just woke up and I said, no, instead of waiting on a good day, waiting around through ups and downs, waiting on something to happen, I just said,
That's the men's side housing. Men's, and then this is.
Step up the stairs though.
Alright. This is the roof.
We have charity and the partnership in that building there, the yellow side. And then that's the Drake Hotel, so that's going to be bulldozed.
Oh yeah, that's where you're.
Yeah. And then both sides, like there's 2 parking lots at all, it should be one big building. It's kind of exciting for us to actually be working with families for the first time, right? Because right now everyone's 19. And then all the kids that will live there will go down. Let's Strathfield Elementary, sort of at the end of Princess, about 3 blocks that way. That huge building, that's Human Conservation's building, just over there is where the elementary school is.
Oh.
So we're already talking about how we can make the neighborhood a really safe place for the families and the kids, knowing that they're going to be going to school every day.
Yeah.